Get Out Marines expelled her from base, then a Navy SEAL Blackhawk landed? The base was quiet, too quiet for a military facility buzzing with Marines, drills, and the hum of armored vehicles. But today, tension filled the air like electricity. Among the soldiers stood a woman who had become the center of controversy. Her presence was not welcomed, not because of her skill, not because of her courage, but because she had challenged the rules and the authority of the base itself. "Get out," the commanding Marine barked, his voice slicing through the morning air. Other Marines paused, unsure whether to intervene. Some stared in disbelief. Few had ever seen anyone defy orders with such calm, unflinching eyes. She didn't move. She didn't argue. Her gaze swept over the base, taking in every detail. The rows of tents, the armored Humvees, and the Marines standing rigidly, waiting for her reaction. Every step, every stance was deliberate. It was clear this was not someone who could be intimidated. The tension was thick when a distant sound cut through the standoff. At first, it was faint, almost imperceptible over the chatter of soldiers. Then, a low thrum grew louder, a sound that made every Marine look up, searching the sky. A helicopter appeared on the horizon, fast and purposeful. Its dark silhouette against the rising sun sent a ripple of anticipation through the base. A Navy SEAL Blackhawk, the kind of aircraft that didn't come by for casual visits. And it wasn't just the helicopter that carried weight. It was what it represented: authority, skill, and the kind of precision that demanded respect from even the most hardened Marines. She remained standing, unmoved, as the rotors whipped sand and dust across the tarmac. The Marines watched, their earlier confidence wavering. Questions buzzed in the air. Why was a Navy SEAL Blackhawk landing here? Who had called it? And more importantly, what did it mean for the woman they had just expelled? The dust from the Blackhawk's landing still hung in the air, swirling around the shocked Marines. One by one, Navy SEALs began descending the ramp, moving with a precision and calm that only comes from years of combat experience. Every step was calculated, every gesture purposeful. The base, once filled with confidence, now felt a strange tension settle over it. The woman didn't flinch. She stepped forward, her boots crunching on the tarmac, as if claiming the space around her. The Marines who had shouted "Get out" moments ago now found themselves hesitating. Something about her presence, coupled with the arrival of the SEAL team, made the air heavy with unspoken authority. The SEALs formed a tight perimeter around her. Their leader, a stern-faced veteran with a commanding presence, stepped forward. He didn't look at the Marines. His eyes were fixed on her, as if assessing not just her capability, but her purpose. "You've caused a bit of a stir," he said, voice low but carrying unmistakable authority. "Care to explain why a military base isn't ready for someone like you?" She remained calm, her eyes steady. "I'm not here to argue. I'm here because this mission requires skills that only I can provide," she replied. Her tone was firm, yet there was a quiet confidence that demanded attention. The Marines shifted uneasily. Some were skeptical, others curious. But the SEAL team's leader didn't hesitate. He nodded subtly, signaling the importance of her role. It was clear the woman's presence was no longer a problem. It was the solution to a situation none of the Marines fully understood yet. From the Blackhawk, more equipment was unloaded: specialized weapons, tactical gear, and a set of detailed mission plans. She walked past it all without a glance, her focus entirely on the task ahead. The SEALs flanked her, moving like shadows that matched her pace, ready to cover every angle. A junior Marine finally whispered to his comrade, "Who even is she?" But no one spoke loud enough to disturb the calm aura of the SEALs. And as the helicopter's blade slowed to a stop, the woman raised her hand slightly, signaling that it was time. The SEAL team fell in line behind her. The tension on the base was palpable. Every eye followed their movements, every soldier holding their breath as they realized something extraordinary was unfolding. This was no ordinary mission. This was a test of skill, courage, and authority, one that would leave a mark on the base and challenge everything the Marines thought they knew about hierarchy, respect, and the power of precision teamwork. The early evening sun cast long shadows across the base, but the tension was hotter than any desert heat. The woman moved with the SEAL team, her focus absolute, her movements precise. Every Marine on the tarmac watched silently, realizing that the situation was no longer about who controlled the base, it was about what she could accomplish. The SEALs moved swiftly toward the perimeter, weapons at the ready, while she surveyed the area. A map in her hand detailed a high-value target location just beyond the base. Most would have needed hours to plan an approach, but she already calculated angles, timing, and obstacles in her head. Her eyes flicked to the horizon, noting every ridge, every shadow, every potential threat. Suddenly, the simulation or real operation began. Explosions and gunfire echoed from training zones, or perhaps from a real threat nearby. Chaos erupted, dust and smoke swirling, Marines ducking instinctively. But she didn't hesitate. Her M82 was raised and steady, her scope locking on distant targets. One by one, she neutralized threats with exacting precision. The SEALs moved in tandem, covering her flanks and clearing the way, but even they couldn't hide their astonishment. Few had ever seen someone handle a battlefield scenario like this with such calm and efficiency. The woman's strategy turned chaos into a calculated advantage, leaving the Marines watching in awe. From across the field, one Marine whispered, "How is she doing all this, alone?" It wasn't entirely alone. She had the SEAL team, but her command over the situation made it feel as if she were orchestrating the operation herself. Targets that seemed impossible were neutralized. Enemy positions that would have taken squads hours to clear were rendered harmless within minutes. The SEAL leader finally spoke, voice low but carrying over the comms. "She's not just skilled, she's redefining how this mission should be handled." Every step, every shot, every decision confirmed what the Blackhawk landing had hinted at. She was not merely a participant, she was the key to success. The Marines who had moments ago expelled her now found themselves witnesses to a mastery that demanded respect. As the mission progressed, the horizon glowed with fire and smoke, and she moved seamlessly among it, unwavering. The SEALs followed her lead, and even the toughest veterans couldn't hide their growing admiration. This was not just skill, this was battlefield genius, a combination of courage, precision, and instinct honed to perfection. The dust finally settled. The echoes of gunfire and chaos faded into silence, leaving the base quiet in a way that felt almost sacred. The SEAL team stood around her, rifles lowered but alert, their expressions a mixture of relief, admiration, and awe. The woman carefully slung her M82 over her shoulder, the sniper pin on her vest catching the last rays of the sun. It wasn't just a piece of metal, it was a symbol of countless missions, discipline, and mastery that few could ever hope to achieve. The SEAL leader stepped forward, his usual stern demeanor softened with respect. "I've worked with some of the best in the world," he said, his voice low but commanding, "and I've never seen someone handle a mission like that. You didn't just complete it, you owned it." The Marines who had moments ago demanded she leave the base now stood silently, watching, their faces reflecting disbelief and newfound respect. The woman's calm confidence, her precision, and her courage had not only proven her capability, but also challenged every assumption they had about authority, skill, and leadership. A young Marine finally broke the silence, whispering to a comrade, "I didn't think anyone could do that. She's incredible." The SEAL leader gave a subtle nod toward the woman. "She didn't just prove herself to us, she proved that courage, focus, and skill aren't measured by rank or size or who thinks they belong. They're proven in action." She allowed herself the faintest smile, acknowledging the unspoken truth. Respect earned on the battlefield is worth more than words, orders, or titles. Her mission was complete, not with fanfare, but with results that spoke louder than any command. The Blackhawk's blades began to spin again, preparing for departure. She glanced at the SEAL team, then at the Marines, and without a word, she stepped toward the helicopter. The SEALs followed. The lesson had been learned, and the legend of her mission would remain, etched in the memories of everyone who witnessed it that day. As the Blackhawk lifted into the sky, the base returned to its normal rhythm, but nothing would ever feel the same.
The Marines who had expelled her now understood this was not just a soldier, they had seen a force, a master of precision and courage who commanded respect not by title, but by action. And somewhere in the fading light, the story of that extraordinary day would be told again and again, the day the Marines learned that some warriors cannot be measured, only witnessed.